That's what my assistant said too. I literally just got this thing like last week and she's like, dude, you sound like either a pilot or a radio DJ.
I like it.
maybe we should have you do the intro.
Like, yeah, we're going to hit
it. And coming with you now live from Colorado.
Welcome to Now, episode 10. The title of this podcast today is From Service to Closing, Building a Community for Military Families in Real Estate. And our guest today is none other than Clint Jordan out of Colorado. Welcome, Clint.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do an introduction on this guy, but he's got a stellar resume, starting off with serving in the military, specifically the Air Force, as a fireman for 21 years. You're welcome for my service. Yes. I got to start off with that. Being stationed all over the world, eventually retiring in Colorado, where you put your passion towards helping people into finding their perfect home. Now you're in real estate. And the founder of Mill Estate, which is a real estate network dedicated to serving military families and veterans across the nation. You're an avid fisherman, hunter, hiker, certified fitness instructor, husband, father of 4. Keep going. And your wife and you have launched the Hero Health Project recently, which we're excited to learn about.
Yeah.
So we're going to spend 20, 30 minutes with this guy today, and I can't wait to dive in.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're busy at all.
No, we have a lot of free time.
Well, and I heard from a little birdie that you also have a TV show, American Dream.
Yeah. So I'm a host here in Colorado for the American Dream TV, which is super cool.
Wow.
And my last we did an episode 6 months ago or something. It was at Comic-Con, so like comedian, but I painted myself green like Lou Ferrigno. Shirt off. I went in and 60,000 people rolling around Comic-Con, and I'm in there with my shirt off. And we walk around, and Lou Ferrigno's there. So I go around the corner. He's like, and I interview him. And that episode actually got submitted for an Emmy. So we'll see how that works out. But you're almost potentially talking to maybe an Emmy award-winning TV guy. So
we lucked out. We're going to need you to send your autograph, please, after the show.
I'll digitally sign it in the chat box. We got this.
There we go.
I knew when I talked to you, it was 6 weeks ago, that you had so much to offer. And I knew that this was brewing in the background with our podcast. So I want to kick off this conversation with providing some nuggets to our listeners, specifically real estate agents. Mm-hmm. Maybe you could share some insights into how your real estate organization leverages industry connections and resources to better serve clients, particularly those in the military community.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking before we started here we do a mastermind every month to do that, to just build relationships and try to leverage. So today we literally had on the one and only Ryan Serhant, right? So we start building, it's incredible. And then the founder of American Dream TV is Craig Sowing. He's another icon in the industry. So he was on too. So we literally have these two icons that are talking to 140 of my military people, right? We're just veterans. And now we get to listen to these people tell us about like what's really going on in the industry. And then we use that to kind of leverage, and then we mastermind behind all that stuff to help each other build, grow, and then become better realtors for our clients, which are the majority of veterans. I mean, obviously we serve any client, but our passion, what we do is the veteran client. So
what was some of the advice that you heard today in the mastermind? We want to hear what's going on in the market.
Hold on. Here, look. As Ryan.
Oh, you got lots of notes.
This guy's good. So we asked them a couple things about, and it's obviously it's all brand, right? At the end of the day, it's branding. No matter who you talk to, you better brand yourself correctly. We focus a lot on your why. Like, what is your and? Like, you're a realtor and you do and like the fitness, all that stuff. Those are my whys and my ands, and I use those in everything we do. When people are like, bro, you're so busy, you do all these things. Well, it's true, but you get time block it all because they're all focused on veterans, or they're all focused on health and fitness. So he talked a little bit about that, and he's a big, obviously, Ryan, his hair is who he is, his blazer is who he is, like the fold up cuff, like everything about him is brand. So he talked a little bit about that. obviously the NAR stuff. It's a huge opportunity for people that are prepared for it. So those are the big nuggets, really focusing on your and. I think people oftentimes throw a big net, right? You got 300,000 people in town and 200,000, 900 something are not going to be the client that I want anyways. So why market to them?
Right.
Why throw that net so big saying, hey man, everybody use Clint as a realtor. Find out who it is you are. And then what client do you want? And then go after that person.
I love that. Your persona, basically. You're finding, who's that avatar?
Yeah, who's your ideal client, right? Your ICA, your ideal client avatar. We coach that on our team too. So when somebody comes in the team, excuse me, we sit them down and we run through that. And then that agent specifically markets towards that avenue. So we got like 10 people on my team. One is a veteran. We have a majority of veterans, but one really focuses on VA benefits and stuff. So like every video has YouTube channels set up specifically to that. So that's who he markets to, right? My daughter just got her license. So she markets to like under 21 first-time home buyers. So like all of her focus on her stuff is what to do in the town of Colorado Springs when you're not drinking and you're not old enough to go party. So then those become some of the people that she markets to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So serving those families that are in the military, it's a unique component of some people's business. What are the best ways for realtors to serve those clients? The VA loan process. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. The main thing about the veteran community, right, is there's just different stressors and different timelines for them than like a regular client, right? So you have to then be prepared to, one, you got to understand everything that they're doing. I think there's different certifications and stuff that you can get to be a military relocation professional. But those that have lived it kind of understand the process a little bit better. But yeah, so it's the VA loan. There's a bunch of different things out there for veterans to do. But like I said, I think for us, it's really understanding the client and then understanding their stressors, their needs, and then really diving down and educating them on that kind of stuff. Like, what is it that it's a different, like I said, the stressors behind a military person are totally different. They come in and the husband's out, right? And the wife's like, oh my God, I got my 4 kids and we're stuck in a hotel. Like, you don't have time to mess things up for these clients. Right. So on our side, we have to be prepared to educate, to talk. And because a lot of times, if it's that's the spouse, like you don't understand all that stuff. You just heard about buying a home. A very, very well educated VA realtor is going to be able to sit down and say, hey, man, you guys are going to come up with, here's all these things going to hit you really quick. But here's all the things that we do. And we're already prepared to help you with that stuff. As opposed to.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I was raised in the military world, and that being like a homeowner for our family wasn't really something that I think we ever understood possible, because you're going like, every 2 years from state to country and space housing. And so it was never really like a dream for us. Has that changed?
I think it has. So I was overseas for my first 11 years. So I was the same as you. I didn't own a home. And one, we weren't educated on it, right? That's one of the main reasons I got into real estate. I was like, holy, why didn't anybody tell me about these benefits? Like, why didn't I know about this VA thing? I could have literally owned 10 homes by now. I could not be working, right? I could just be living off my passive income, but instead I retired. Now I got 15 jobs and try to meet, but yeah. So we weren't educated in that initially. I think now it is, there's a bigger push to it. I'm kind of a bit of afraid and scared that we're not pushing hard enough. And then our veterans are really nervous about interest rates and stuff. So we're not buying. Right. And then there's companies out there's BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, like big companies that are buying up every single home there is. So while we know what the American dream is now, right? We have veterans agents that are teaching our people, but now we're scared a little bit about the rate. And by 2030, like there's a stat out there that they're going to own 40% of single family homes. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah. 40%. So now our people can't buy. Right. That sucks. That's super scary to me.
The Vanguards,
the BlackRock, Vanguard. Yeah. Those are, so the big 3 are those 3. And then there's a bunch of other huge corporations, just not as big as these guys. These guys own trillions of dollars worth of stuff, but they're just going out and buying up single family homes. So by 2030, like we think inventory is an issue now. Then we want even more because now they own everything, right? They own rent rates, they own home rates, so now our veterans even potentially further outside of owning a home. So,
well, I think not just veterans, just first-time home buyers or home buyers in general.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think we can relate, even if you're not working with veterans, on the how to get over that narrative with your buyers that
Right.
are just on the fence, right? I mean, what's been working for you guys? Because they're missing out on some opportunities.
Yeah. I don't know that there's any secret sauce to that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We still miss out
Yeah.
too. I'll have 10 conversations and I'll say the
Mhm.
same stuff 10 different times. And maybe one or two, these people are like, all right, cool. Right. And then I
Mhm.
remember when I first got into real estate. Oh, not first. I guess it was probably about 4 years ago. But the first actual closing that I went to where like somebody made $100,000 because I educated them enough 4 years ago to say, man, buy the house. And here's why. Right. They're at that closing
Mhm.
table and they literally had the check for $100,000. I'm like, that is so
Wow.
like huge. So once that happened, I'm like, man, I'm gonna learn everything I can. I want to learn every objection to everything that you can sit down and talk to me about because I want you to buy if you can. And then I can tell you, here's the
Mhm.
result is in 4 or 5 years, you're gonna make money. We've never not, right? Except for me in '06 when the market crashed and I had to get out in '08. But other than that part of life, you're gonna make it. So
Mhm.
it's hard though. It's really, I think truly just being educated on our side to be able to counter anything that you're going to object to, anything that you have a false. We just listen to the news, which pushes a ton of false propaganda all day. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. You watch Fox and CNN, they're going to talk about the same exact thing. These guys are news people, and then say absolutely opposite stuff about what should be a factual data point, right? And then it's totally one way or the other. But that's all that our people hear. So, and by our people, I don't just mean military. I mean anybody that's looking to buy a home. So it's really on us
Mhm.
to understand that and to be able to sit down with you and say, hey man, here's what it really is. I know what you're hearing, but here's stats, here's
Mhm.
facts, here's dollars, here's all of that stuff.
Yeah, we have to keep educating ourselves. I think that's why podcasts are so huge these days. People are going to different platforms to get their facts
Right.
because there's such a lack of trust in our media these days.
No, it's garbage. Yeah. The media, they're bad. They're really bad.
Hmm.
So how many people are in your real estate network?
So right now we have 132. I Zoom and interview. Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, how long has it been established?
Last July, I started it.
Wow. Well, it grew
Less than a year?
quickly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then our goal this year is to get to 300. And I can tell you, I've been on over 400 Zoom calls with people. So I could have been at 400 easy, but it's very important
Wow.
the caliber and quality of people that I bring in because we're not open. Like there's no more than 3 agents in any market, right? And then how we dictate
Mhm.
markets and stuff. But it's very important if I bring in one of you guys that you're one, a really cool person, two, and I don't just bring in 400 people and all of a sudden we've got a bunch of agents that nobody likes, cares, or trusts or any of that stuff. So yeah, 132. There's probably a couple more after this mastermind today that are going to sign up. So we'll probably be closer to 140 by the end of today.
That's really exciting.
That is exciting.
It's just nationwide, or are you going to
Yeah. No, nationwide and broker neutral. Like I don't care what brokerage you work for, as long as you are a veteran, a mil spouse, or active duty agent. And it's literally this all day. Like we just interview and vet people, and I reach out and we make connections. And you're like, hey, Clint's a really good veteran realtor dude that has this organization. And then we sit and do these interviews and just make sure that people are, like I said, legit. You can tell a lot just by looking at somebody's face.
Hmm. It's our fit.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then people you can't lie. Like your energy doesn't lie, right? I can say whatever I want to say, but if you're looking at me and I'm not looking at you direct or whatever, not smiling, there's a lot of stuff that, my mannerisms will tell you about the person that I am. So it's building really cool. It's better, I think, than what I had initially thought. I just wanted a good organization of people that I could trust. And now I have Ryan Serhant speaking to this group of people that I just built saying, hey guys, trust me. I'm going to give you a bunch of marketing stuff. We're going to build this cool network and send referrals to each other and help collaborate. And now I literally have Craig Sewing and Ryan Serhant talking to these people. Like it's mind blowing to me to think like in 8 months or whatever.
Well, obviously there's a need and you're doing really good work.
Yeah, for sure. There's that need, right? And then there's 5 billion groups on Facebook that we want to help a veteran and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why with me, I'm like, hey, everybody's one is vetted and interviewed. And then everybody is a veteran. And like, that's what makes us a little bit different, saying, hey, we're in fact a group of, and I do a lot of, I have a publicist out of New York that he literally just reaches out and gets me on podcasts, radio stations, TV. I was on the Schwab Business Network the lady that interviewed me was literally in the New York Stock Exchange. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
I think the very first one I ever did too. So I'm like, oh, Clint's nervous. Yeah. Hi.
Fix the hair.
Yeah, I'm totally and I'm in a blazer looking thing because my guy was like, make sure you wear a business casual. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Clint's more of a Nordstrom's casual dude. I don't know if that's business or not business. And then from there, like it's literally, we've been on 17 different shows like Portland, LA, and we just get on that show and whatever they want to talk about. If it's housing, veterans, transition is a huge thing, that veteran transition out of the military. And then we always end it with, and by the way, I have this network, and in your market, you have 2 agents there. We're much more than just a realtor who can help buy and sell. Like we've lived it. We've been there. If your person needs to know where a veteran barbershop is, like they know who that is. Like they're actual veterans in that community. So we're growing that way too. So on a national, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I am so impressed. I mean, that's amazing. It's so inspiring.
Thank you.
I mean, a year ago, would you have thought you'd be sitting where you are right now? Maybe you had that vision.
I think big, like I do think, but no, like I thought maybe we would be a really cool organization. There's no way I thought Ryan Serhant would be talking to 130 people. But
wasn't he in the military way back in the day? I think he was.
I don't think he was.
Really? I thought I remember seeing that, like when he first got on TV. I thought there was like I'll have to look into that.
I'll have to look it up too, because he didn't just come out and say, he said, I have a lot of love and respect. And,
got it.
But I don't think he said he served. And if you did, you would, especially when you know you're talking to a group of 100, but he may have. And I was a little bit nervous because it's Ryan and I only have 15 minutes of his time. So we kind of rushed in. And so I might've not heard it because I was doing all this stuff.
Right. Taking all those notes.
Yeah. And he told me he may have.
Okay. So you went from the service to real estate, and then into TV.
Yeah. So when I retired out of the Air Force in 2017, I got my real estate license, opened a CrossFit gym. I started work with an old fire chief of mine doing kind of inside sales. So I retired in February, and in March I had 3 jobs. Right. So I was like, good, why not just pick up a bunch of jobs after you retire, Clint? That makes sense. Yeah, that one.
Is that gonna serial entrepreneur? Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know it. You'd come out of 21, 22 years in the military of just people telling you what to do. Right. I was on another call with somebody else. We dug a little bit deep into the why, and they think about it. It makes perfect sense. My mother and my stepfather have owned everything. Not super rich people, but they own a mechanic shop. They owned a restaurant at one point. My mom bought cabins when I joined the military, and they're like, do you want to come up and manage the cabins with us? I was like, nope, I'm out. And then when I think back, I served 22 years where somebody's just daily telling you what to do and how to do it and how to do it better so you get a better rating. It was literally the moment I walked out of that gate. I was like, cool. Out. My girlfriend, wife now, she's like, hey, there's this gym going out of business. You want to buy it? I'm like, yeah, well, why not? I don't know anything about business. I just did 22 years as a fireman in the Air Force. And I was literally sitting in our transition class. They make you business casual. You learn a little bit about resume stuff. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, I don't want to do this. So I'm sitting there just on Facebook. I'm like, what? Hey, anybody got a job for me? I'm retiring. And everybody's like, what? Because I was supposed to do 30 years and be this big fire chief dude in my head. And then I'm retiring. So my buddy was literally out like a town over from where we're out here in the Springs. And he's like, dude, go get your real estate license. Come work with me. I had played Air Force softball with him. And I was like, cool. And then my other fire chief was like, hey, fly to Florida, get trained up real fast. You could be our inside sales guy. You could work from home. I'm like, well, that's genius. I could work from home while I'm selling real estate. He'll never know. We just managed all that. Yeah. Then before you know it, like the gym took like a year to really build. So in like 18, then it was like full on real estate, managing the gym a little bit, not coaching 17 hours a day down there. And then
I can tell you still use it by looking at you. You're very nice and fit.
Thank you very much. We got a little bit. Yeah. So, and then, so now we bought our own building right after COVID for the gym. So we leased in some other spot, and we asked if we could expand. The guy's like, yeah, man, certainly you could expand. Sign a 5-year lease. And I think he said I had to pay for build out too. It's like $50,000. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. You know, I'm a realtor. Right. This is super rich guy in Denver. I'm like, whatever. So I took my $100,000 out of my thrift savings plan, my retirement plan from the military for 20 something years, bought our own building. I was like, screw it. Take all my retirement pay, bought a building. Now we own this 8,000 square foot building that's worth 1.5 million that I paid 700,000 for. And now we've expanded that. So the gym has become a gym and a dart cornhole thingy. And so,
Wow.
And okay, so what about the television show? Like,
yeah, so the show,
When did that start?
the television show, you tell us about that because you host homes.
yeah. So the show is called American Dream TV. It's nationwide. I want to say every big market for sure has it, right? So they come in, Craig Sewing, the founder of it, he started it 8 years ago out of San Diego, and he just hosted it daily. And then he started expanding and bringing in host local. So they come into your market, interview a bunch of agents, and then grab like 4 or 5 to make a TV show. So all of us film, and then if you're my whatever, us filming you guys, like our segment would end up being like a 5-minute portion of a 30-minute show.
Okay.
Right. So all 4 or 5 of us would film for that month. We send all of our stuff in. They edit our clips, and then they build Clint's, and then they build Courtney's, and then we end up with the American Dream Colorado Springs. It's a 30-minute segment. If you were to watch it totally, on cable or Roku or wherever it's at, you would see a 30-minute segment. What we do and take is our 5-minute segment, right? And then we push that out everywhere.
And that's just local to Colorado, or do you?
It can be anywhere. We're local. So American Dream TV here is local to Colorado, right? But there's American Dream TV hosts in Denver and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go on YouTube or really anywhere, you pull up American Dream TV, you can see episodes from every city. And it's just whatever that agent wants to do and highlight. So all my stuff is military, health and fitness. So everybody that's on my show is somebody that does really good things in our community, and they're military affiliated, an organization, a person, whatever. And then we get 4 hours of footage with them, but then it's just me interviewing you guys, and and then that's the show, right? It's literally me and you guys, and it's Ask a General at whatever, and we go over whatever we want to cover. And then that's what the show is about. It's super cool. It's the greatest thing ever.
That's fun.
Oh yeah, we get to produce all of it. Like, it's just Clint. I'm like, what do we want to do today? Oh, let's jump out of airplanes and invite 5 wounded warrior buddies. Okay. Go to the airplane place. I said, hey, I do this TV show thing. Can we bring a bunch of wounded warriors in here and jump for free? And I'll put you on my show. And they're like, yeah, what is it? And we literally jumping out of airplane. We landed a helicopter. The golf course. It's ridiculous.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I want to hear about that. You landed a helicopter on a golf course?
Yeah, we've done. Yeah. And literally, like I said, I painted myself green and walked into Comic-Con, 60,000 people just to promote Comic-Con, and then us as a realtor, right? Because at the end of the day, it's your brand. And then how do you stand out amongst 5,000 realtors in town? We'll host a TV show and then do it better than the other people do it, and just do more crazy stuff, as opposed to just the donut shop. I'm like, yeah, whatever with the donut shop. I'm going to dress up as Santa Claus, and I'm going to go on top of the biggest Ferris wheel in town that sits on the highest mountain. And I'm going to have my drone guy. And I'm like, hey, this is Clint Jordan. Totally Santa Claused out. This is Clint Jordan, your host of American Dream TV, Colorado Springs. And the drone's in my face. And then we have the mayor. I asked the mayor to come out so I could interview him. The mayor visited me at Santa's Village to do an interview with me. Like, that's where I go with it. Yeah. It's the greatest platform. If anybody listens and they're like, I want to know more about this American Dream TV, literally, like I said, Craig was just on my mastermind. He just showed up. I was like, that's really cool. But he interviews everybody, almost all of them himself too. It's really wild. He's got like 1,000 agents that are actual hosts, and he flies to different cities and does interviews himself.
We definitely need to look into that.
Well, at a minimum, we need to up our game. I mean,
at a minimum, we need to dress up like Santa.
Well, I mean, we have, my husband and I have a fence company. We have lots of fun equipment. Get me on that excavator. Yeah, I actually tore a house down. That would be a fun episode.
That would be super crazy.
Making us think outside our little box. That's a
you guys
very good takeaway for this conversation, realtors. Like,
yes.
Not only dream big, but think outside the box.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. If you guys, we'll talk after this, but it's literally, it's that easy of a conversation too. And then the things that you can do with it is, it's so crazy to think the doors that are open. And then can we talk a little bit of money? Can we?
Yeah.
So I've made over
I
$100,000.
don't know any. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
anybody that does that.
I love this money.
Okay,
Let's talk
cool.
money.
So in the year that I've been with, in the year that I've been a host for them, a year and 4 months. So I made over $100,000 in transactions strictly because of that show. 100%
Wow.
because of the relationships that were made. Period. I'm like, hey, I host a TV show, man. Can I put you on it? Yeah. What is it? And then you sit down. You're like, it's just me elevating you, man. Oh, by the way, I'm a realtor, so if you ever need help with real estate, I can help you there too. But otherwise, I just want to really say what you're doing because you're a veteran in our community and it's really cool. And then you want to jump out of airplanes? Like, yeah, let's do it. And then now you form these relationships and these bonds. And the cool thing is once you leverage and you learn kind of your marketing, which you guys are pretty savvy at, all of those people, if you're staying within your lane, if I'm always doing veterans in health and fitness, and that's what my show is always about, and then I always push my clips and promote everything, well, it's always in the same circle of people that are on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. They're all health and fitness and veterans. Those are all the people I want to target anyways. Those are my ideal people. So then you take that and you market, you're like, genius. And you just market and you're doing all the same stuff that you love to do. So your heart is always like, I'm totally good, man. I'm highlighting veterans. We get to be on TV. That's cool. And then on the business side of stuff, you're like, this is genius because now you're just highlighting people and you in your own market. I'm going to throw a red carpet party with my last four guests. What a lot of people do is like, they'll do the episode and then they'll host a party, right? Cool. But you've already highlighted that person in Clint's head. What I'm going to do is do my last four. So it's one super well-connected veteran. He owns a therapy place, and he's the president of Citizen Soldier Connection, which just gives money to veterans in need. The mayor, and then our last two hosts. So then what our party's going to be is I'm going to be on stage and I'm going to say, hey, so first up, Dave owns a clinic and he's a veteran and let's watch his show, right? And then what's Dave going to do? He's going to get up on stage and say how cool Clint is. Clint, thank you so much, dude. You're an amazing veteran in town. Clint owns a gym. I'll look him up. I'm like, Dave, thanks, brother. So Dave has all 200 of his people, right? And then I call the mayor up. He would be the last one, just whatever. But then you call your next one up. I'm like, hey, Bob, here's what you do. He owns Mount Carmel. And then Bob, what does Bob say? Clint, thank you so much to his three. And now we have 1,000 people in the room. We get to hear four very, very well-connected veterans, mayor people saying, hey, Clint is an amazing dude. Thank you for putting us in front of millions of people on your show.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I love it. And it's fun. You're doing something fun that's bringing you business.
Yes. And joy. Like I said, if I coach a little bit in, like, not officially a coach for ADTV yet, but I'm on Zooms all day with those guys too, because then you just build another network, right? So I just offer, I'm saying, hey man, everybody knows what I do inside of American Dream TV. They all dig it and they all know that I'm always available to jump on a Zoom. So if I'm not interviewing and bringing people in from real estate, then I'm jumping on a Zoom for American Dream TV and just telling people what I do, how I market, how we do it, how we bring guests, my whys, like how do we do all that stuff? And then now what do I have?
Yeah.
Now I've got a network of 100 and something American Dream TV hosts. I got 3 listings right now from referrals inside of the American Dream Network from people that I just jumped on a Zoom with and got face to face and said, hey man, here's the stuff that I know and let's meet. And then those people, I did literally yesterday was one from Denver. She's like, I just don't want to drive down, Clint. It's an hour and a half. Like, I don't want to drive to Denver either. So she'll get some of my stuff, but she just called. She said, hey, I work for Sotheby's. We have a Sotheby's office there in the Springs, but I just love what you do and how much you give. So,
well, we're big, fans of building out your relationships and referrals. That's how I built my business over the last 20 years, was all through the relationships. And we're part of a group called Pro Insight, and it's not veteran based, but it's a similar concept, right? Where everyone's vetted and you want to make sure you have that high level of trust. And
I think I reached, weren't we supposed to talk about that at some point?
Oh, there you go.
It's
another great group of people for sure.
And it's genius, right? Because then it just elevates you guys. Like this podcast it's wonderful because I'll post whatever you guys send out, like we'll have it. And then people reach out to you and you just keep building your network and you're doing you're providing the service. Like I didn't pay you to come on here, but I get to leverage it, right? I'll be like, hey, I was on another amazing podcast with these 2 amazing ladies. We'll tag everything. And then you guys benefit from providing the service to people. It's an amazing concept that there's too much of this in life. Like, gimme. And I'm like, here, just give, and it will come back to you. I promise.
I so agree. I absolutely so agree. You got to provide that value. We've talked about it on other episodes.
Yeah. And it's with your clients too, right?
we started this conversation talking about how passionate you are. You can tell you're passionate. You're just like, okay, I'm going to do the TV show.
Yes.
And now we're going to do a Hero Health project. And it sounds a lot like my business partner here.
Yeah, we'll get along great.
Yeah, I love it.
Probably a little bit of I in you and a little bit of D. You guys are probably
on the disc.
on the disc.
Yeah.
I suspect.
Yes.
I'm way up here. I'm a high D, high I,
I'm a
all
super
the way
high.
to the top.
Yeah. Yeah. People, I've never been accused of lacking energy when I get to talk. I get to doing things that I love to do. So. And it helps because then you can just stay in those lanes. Like I literally know if I don't feel something, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. If it doesn't, I don't like conversations, like literally conversations. I'm like, man, I don't want to be in this one. Like, I don't
like this.
Thanks for calling. Like later. Like,
and I think that's where a lot of realtors go wrong about where they don't stay in their lane. And what you talked about before with that wide net, it just doesn't work. And they think that they might be leaving money on the table, but in reality, they're wasting money, wasting time, trying to do it all, not working with the clients that will appreciate them, and they don't get the ROI that they're expecting. So I think that's very key.
It's hard. It's hard when you're new. You know what I mean? You just start because you're one. We've not been coached right yet. Like I didn't get a coach until 2 years ago. I don't need one. I'm like, you had a coach in everything you've ever done, right? Every sport I ever played, I had a coach. But as an adult, I think I don't need one. So anybody that's listening, listening about should I get a coach? The answer is always yes to that. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Hero Health Project. I want to learn more about that.
Yeah. So that's kind when we opened the gym, we had like two goals that we wanted to do. One was somehow provide the gym for free. Didn't know how to do it. We didn't have any money. I literally used my money for my retirement and I just started real estate. I haven't sold a home yet. Right. I'm like, oh, I want to do the gym for free. That sounds really cool. And I heard realtors make a lot of money, so we should be able to do this. And then the second thing we wanted to do was buy a truck or a van and like take fitness to places, like to veterans that couldn't do it, to elderly, places, stuff like that. So what we did right away was once I had a couple sales under my belt, we just started giving away a free year membership to anybody that uses this as a realtor. So for the first 4 years, we probably have 20, 30 people in the gym that aren't paying just because they use this as, as they were our clients. In the first year, we bought a van. So we had this huge box van. And then you kind of get really busy in life. And that one, I ended up selling the box van like 2 years ago. We never did what we wanted to do with it, but we were getting really close with this. So it was taking a lot of my attention. The box van ended up just being this cool thing that I put a bunch of speakers in to make it loud so we could take it out and party in the box van type of deal.
Probably like colorful, good.
It was dope. It was really cool.
Yeah.
The speakers were nuts. Like, it was crazy. So then we were getting closer with this. So we partnered up with a place called Mount Carmel Veterans Center in town. They help over 100,000 veterans, literally from you don't have any money, food, shelter, to like I went there when I retired. It wasn't in my own head. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, So I went there just for the behavioral. So from the bottom to the top, this place services everybody. So I went there and linked up with them, and we did an MOU to where, we now partner with them, and any transactions we do, we give a client that, and then we give another membership to Mount Carmel. So it's literally about $3,000 worth of stuff every transaction. Our goal is still just to get to a place where if we get, and it's literally like 3 transactions a month. If I could find 3 transactions, like, you get in the business sense, like, all right, cool, we're moving well here. As long as I can maintain 7 transactions and everything that we're doing is good. If I could find 3 more from anywhere that I could attach to the Hero Health Project, that gym's 100% for free, period. So that's where we're working, trying to build those relationships where right now we're just giving to Mount Carmel, right? We're just giving them free memberships in hopes that the word gets out to their 100 employees that, hey, Clint, Lisa, and CrossFit Bonnie and Clyde is doing this thing. So maybe they give us, just use our name. Just let me get in front of a client. And, that's all that we ever ask is if you have somebody that needs help with real estate, put Clint in front of them. Like, I'll talk to them.
Yeah. An introduction.
That's it. Like, you don't got to tell them I'm the only one. Just tell them I am one and let me talk to those people. So 3 of those, literally, I could do the gym for free forever. So we're to that spot now. We're giving away a ton. We're really close to just opening up a 8,000 square foot CrossFit gym free to veterans and families in town.
So amazing.
But then we think big picture stuff because that's always where my head goes, is that if we can do that here, right, and I can model it here, and then I have the Mill Estate network everywhere where I have veteran realtors everywhere, then I could go to Miami, Orlando, LA. I could build a gym. I could attach the Hero Health Project or the Mill Estate team to it and then market the same stuff. And now we have another Hero Health Project gym in Orlando, at Hill Air Force, wherever we want to go. We get 50 of these gyms nationwide just paid for through real estate. And then the teams inside of those markets get all the leads that we're going to generate anyways to fund the gym. So veterans win, and then the veterans gyms are free and they win.
So cool.
Yeah. I 100% believe in you. I just this half hour call with you and I'm like super fan. You have a super fan. I think it's so great what you guys are doing.
That's
so great.
That's very cool to hear. Thank you for saying that.
Well,
That's really cool.
Like, my gosh, he has a publisher. He's got publicists. He's got this. He's got that. He's like totally going to turn me down. He's not.
There's no way he takes his call.
He's on a TV show. He's not calling me back.
And we
become a little bit of a friendship going on, I feel like.
Yeah. And that's why, like I said, I appreciate people who do things for people. That's what you guys are doing. That's literally what the podcast is. Sure, you're building relationships, but you're literally giving me a platform to build a relationship with you two. And then whoever this goes out to, right? I love those. Like, we could all win. Like, it's just, there's so many people that don't understand that. And they don't want to give. They just want to take it. It's about me. And I'm like, just stay out of my life. Like, we get those people out of our circle as fast as possible.
For sure.
Then we bring you guys in because you're cool people.
For sure.
Absolutely.
You're right.
We sort of think so. So I'm going down to Southern California next week and I'm meeting with a few agents. What advice would you give to agents that are looking to have military families that want to tap into that sector?
Number one, what part of LA? Where are you going?
Temecula.
Look at you. I was born, so I'm a California kid. I was born in Inglewood, raised kind of Lakewood, and then I went to high school out in Riverside. So pretty close to Temecula. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. So what advice would I give them to get into the military?
If they want to serve military families and helping them. I mean, you've got Camp Pendleton that's there.
Yeah.
Navy base that's there.
San Diego's like the number 2 most populated veteran. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say to those agents and how they can best service those families when they're trying to look for a home?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think the most important thing is that they get very educated on what that veteran family needs, right? If they're not one. So there's that MRP cert. Do you guys have that, the military relocation thing? Do you guys have that certification?
We might. If we do, I don't have it. I need to look into that.
I was made to get it. I PCS like 7 or 8 times. That's my military relocation professional certification, but it carries some weight, right? So it's just the MRP cert. You sit in class for 6 or 8 hours and you come out with a certification. That's like the first step. Like if you want to get into it and then truly buy in and believe in the military community. What I see all the time is I love my vets or I want to help my vets. And like, that's you saying you want their money to me, right? If I want to help my vets, all you're telling me is that you're not one, you're not a veteran, and that you want to connect with them for the money that they could give you. Like, go further than that, provide value to that veteran. Like, get away from that. I love my veteran thing. Right. For sure. Get educated. For sure. Hook up with the lender. Like, there's some amazing lenders that are veterans as well, or understand that process thoroughly as well. So I think it's that. I think it's doing more than just saying, I want to, same like with all this stuff. Like, you got to do more than just saying, I want to do, I want to help. I want, right. It's always like this, like, give me. So for any of the, and it's a huge market out there. Like I said, I think Virginia is number 1, and then San Diego is like the number 2 most populated with veterans and military out there. So there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of agents out there as well that claim to want to help our veterans. So for your Temecula people, get super educated on it, hook up with like a lender. There's a ton of classes out there where they can just get smart, because you just have to be able to talk it, right? And it's more about the veteran. Like, if I'm talking to a businessman out here, like my vocabulary changes a little bit, right? My posture changes a little bit. I may dress different. And then I talk differently to a professional businessman. right? If I'm talking to my military people, that's a hey dude thing. I may be in something similar. It's still dressed. I'm still a professional realtor, but I know I don't have to shave pretty. I know I can rock my hat. I know they will dig the tattoos, right? So my presence is, oh, there's 100% that dude's a military guy, right? There's no question. So they just want that comfort. And it's literally in you understanding what they've done. Like, oh, I love my vets. Ah, cool, man. What do you love about us? That's what I would ask somebody. If you wanted to be my realtor and you're like, man, I love my vets. I'm like, that's awesome, man. What do you know about us? Ooh, well, better yet, what do you know about me? Like I was an E8 in the Air Force. What do you know about that? Nothing.
That's high.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit, right? I know it's higher.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just 100% lost me as your ever. But if you understand those things, you don't have to say that you did it. But you're like, oh, is that a senior in the Air Force? And then it's such and such in the Army. So just have an education, like know who your client is.
And listen, actually listen.
Yeah, that's very important. And that goes back to what we said earlier, because they're different. That military client need is different. It's a different timeline. They don't have an extra week. Like, hey, it's cool, man. We're just going to push closing. No, you can't. I'm
they
leaving.
can't.
I'm out of here.
Right.
To go into Iraq to go save your, so we can't push it.
Save your asses.
Yeah.
I feel like there's just this part of a person that can feel what it's like to be in the military, right? Like you can just feel that connection and that shared experience.
Right.
If your customer doesn't pick up on that, then it's just going to be lost. And perhaps, but I would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. And that's that initial meeting, right? Like it's initially, if you can't, and again, you don't have to have served. I would rather you did if I'm working with you. But if you didn't, at least know what it is. You know what I mean? When I went through that MRP class, it was like 5 or 6 years ago, whatever. It was, my boss was like, go get it, dude. And I'm like, whatever. So I remember I sat in there. The first question they had asked was like, how many veterans do we have? There's like 62 people in this class and 3 of us raised our hands. So I was like, that's kind of cruddy, right? And initially I'm like, well, that stinks. And then we're a couple hours into the class and some lady said, she's like, I don't care if they're an 06 or an E2. I treat them and talk to them the same. And I remember I looked at her, I said, lady, you're an idiot. And right in the thing. And the guy's like, hey, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to, don't hate me. I'm like, you're wrong. They are not the same people. And neither one of them want to be talked to the same. I don't want to be talked to like a colonel. I'm not an officer. I'm an enlisted E3 or 4. Like I'm a dude. Like I'm cool. I don't want that. And if you're talking to that 06, like the E3, then you're way right. You're losing him as a client anyway. So when she said that, I was like, yeah, you just don't get it. Like you need to do better as a realtor. Like know your client, listen, and just do better. Like that lady would never, ever, she's not going to make it in anybody's military circle.
Right. Well, I think on that note, we can all end with do better.
So, yeah.
That's our word of the day.
Our power word is dream big.
Get on helicopters. We've got
yeah, I'm telling you that so like the American dream thing is, it's nuts because we talk like in our meetings and stuff, like there's nobody I can't talk to. And I don't mean that in a arrogant, any kind of way. I just know that I have this little badge that we made up. Like you don't have an official ADTV badge. We bought it on Amazon. We made it. It has my picture. It's got a barcode. And then Cassie, my assistant, has hers, and my video guy. Like I know, like I can just go into any office and say, hey man, I'm Clint. The host of this American Dream TV show. It's an amazing platform. It gets out in front of 20, 30, 40 million people. We just got picked up by HGTV. So what I want to do is I just want to do an episode about you, man, and your restaurant, and you're a veteran, and I want to just highlight what got you into it, man. What do you think? Like, what is it? I'm like, it's literally us, man. We produce it. I'll ask you like 3 questions. You get to tell me exactly what it is you want me to say about you. And then like, I could do that to anybody now. Nobody's going to say no. Right. I can build any kind of relationship. Again, retired fireman Clint Jordan from 17 is obviously the same person, but I don't get into the same doors anymore. Like I'm not afraid to reach out to Tim McGraw, who's coming into Denver saying, hey man, I'm the host of this TV show. Yeah. My publicists reach out to him, but their guy reached back out and said, hey man, Tim's not doing any kind of, what do I call it? He's not doing anything on this tour. But then like the publicist dude is like, hey man, this is cool because they reach back out to us. Most oftentimes you don't get anything. So I'm going to ping him back. We'll go out and meet Tim where he's at later. Yeah.
That's so
It's
cool.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Where can people follow you? Like, where can people start?
Yeah.
To all things Clint.
Yeah. I think all of our stuff is just Clint Jordan on Instagram. It's Clint Jordan, the veteran realtor. Our mill estate, certainly go to that. We have our Facebook and our Instagram on that.
Okay.
We have the mill estate website's pretty cool. If you want to find a realtor or reach out and get a hold of me to get into the network, you can go there. You can just ping me on Facebook as well.
All right. We'll make sure we put the links in our caption. We so appreciate having you on today, Clint. Thank you for taking the time.
Of course. Thank you both very much. And let me know if you want into the ADTV thing. We can certainly talk about it offline or something. We'll get it together on another call and talk about that.
Let's do it.
You guys. It's amazing.
It does. So I would like to talk to you about that.
Cool.
Thank you, Clint, for, number one, your service.
Yes.
Number two, for taking my call. And I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the last few weeks. So I look forward to it.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like we've built a pretty decent relationship over the last couple weeks. So I think that's very cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Clint. We'll talk to you.
All right.
soon.
Thank
All right.
you.
You guys rock. Have a great Friday.
You too.
Yeah.
You too.
Same.
Bye.
Bye.